single, double and triple. Now many composers have used this facility that trumpet players and brass players have. Stravinsky, for example, in the Firebird, has some very fast repeated tongue passages. One of the most fundamental elements of brass playing is breathing, and you really have to have very good breathing and breath control if you're ever going to get on as a brass player. In many ways, it's the quiet, sustained playing that requires the most control and the most technique to achieve. There's a passage, for example, in Verdi's Masked Ball. And one of the problems with breathing is that you run out of breath. Now, I think brass players have developed two ways of dealing with this. Very often you don't want to stop a phrase. Musically, the phrase wants to continue. And to take a breath, you chop the phrase. So sometimes, in the planets, for example, you have to breathe very fast and often. And hopefully, if you can do it often enough and fast enough, you don't really hear where the breaks come. One other thing which brass players and wind players in general have developed is called circular breathing. And circular breathing, what happens then is you catch air in your cheeks, and as you blow the air out of your cheeks, you breathe in through your nose. It's not a technique we often use, but when we do, it's quite useful. Although the B-flat trumpet is able to play in the higher registers of the instrument's range, very often for a classical player you cannot get quite enough precision, as much precision as you would like. So other instruments have developed in order to help you. This here is a piccolo trumpet, and it's pitched exactly an octave higher than this trumpet here. And although you can't really play any higher on a piccolo trumpet than you can on a large B-flat trumpet, it does give you a little bit more accuracy in that upper register. I'll play a little bit of Bach's Brandenburg Concerto No. 2. You could play that phrase, I guess, on a large B-flat trumpet, but I don't think it would sound very good. The notes do come out, but there certainly isn't the same precision on the attacks. The other big issue for brass players, but trumpet players in particular, and particularly when playing in a high register, is how much muscle power you have here in your embouchure. The air pressure is created by the biggest muscle in your body, in your abdominal area, and yet the air is forced through your lips and controlled by two of the smaller muscles in your body at either side of your mouth. So trumpet players are generally obsessed with how much strength and power they have in these muscles here, and a lot of your practice as a trumpet player is spent building strength and security in these small muscles here. The other issue, I guess, that trumpet players are slightly obsessed with is the nature, the quality of their lips at any given time. Your lips are your reed. A woodwind instrument has a reed, and woodwind players spend an awful lot of time shaving the wood off their reed in order to get it in optimum condition. A brass player, you can do nothing. Your lips are what they are. And if it's cold in the dead of winter and you find your lips get chapped, You still have to use them, they still have to vibrate. And really, it's a big learning experience as you go through your life as a brass player in working out ways of actually getting your lips to vibrate and getting your muscles here to last long enough to get to the end of a concert.
If you've enjoyed learning about the instruments in the orchestra, why not try our iPad app, The Orchestra, featuring Esa-Pekka Salonen and the Philharmonia Orchestra. Fully interactive video playback lets you view the orchestra from all angles, and the revolutionary beat map shows you who is playing when. Follow along with synchronized scores. Hear the inside scoop in audio commentaries, and get a 360-degree view of all the instruments. Available for download in the App Store on iTunes.